Amazing. First of all, thank you so much, everyone, for attending today. We are really, really excited about this. I think it's been quite a exciting journey. And we're really excited for you to be with us on this really short notice. We put this event online on Monday, and today we go to Wednesday. And you have been really remarkable to join us, to sign up. And it seems like there's a lot of interest in this, which is something which is really exciting for us. And I hope for you as well, that something like this is going to exist. And I think I want to start off just a bit, talking about us, because there might be a few people who know us already. We had a presentation, Battery Day, Battery Associates Battery Day, exactly 8 weeks or 2 months ago, which was also one day after Tesla's big announcement of the Battery Day. And you might have been following Tesla or Elon's announcement yesterday again. So it seems like we're really doing really well on always being one day after him. And I think it's a good timing, because it means there's a lot of interest. And some people might say we even planned that, but I will let you make your own deductions on that one. And for the first 10 minutes or so, I'm going to talk quickly about us. So what Battery Associates is all about. So you have a bit of background, because as I said, we're quite a young organization in ways, and I think we're moving in very exciting ways. And I think it's just fair to give you a bit of background. And maybe just quick about myself. I think most people probably know me to some degree. My name is Simon Engelke. I'm the founder and chair of Battery Associates. My background is I did a PhD on lithium-ion batteries at the University of Cambridge, and have been involved in a few other initiatives, including the World Economic Forum. And I guess you can stalk my LinkedIn. You will find a few things about myself. Okay, so Battery Associates has 3 main components, and it's got a network, it's got a consultancy and recruiting. And you might wonder why we need them all, but I think it's really kind of, 3 kind of foundations we need to really have a big impact in the battery world, because these all play quite nicely together. So in the network, you have individuals, a lot of them actually all around the world, who are joining us right now to join forces to really try to make a big impact together. For the consultancy, we are able to help some really big organizations. We have a lot of really exciting organizations who want to work with us and working with us. And for recruiting, we know there's lots of demand right now to get all this amazing talent in the right places. And so this is something we really identified as well, which is quite needed. And of course, these things can work quite nicely together, because maybe someone joins us for the network, or someone joins us for a job, or someone joins us for a project. So I think there's many ways to interact with us, either on an individual level, because we are called Battery Associates for a reason, or on a company level, of course, which any company or any organization or every government in the end comes back to a big group of people. So we really focus on the individual, but I think it's quite a good approach for this topic. And also for our mission statement, it's to create a sustainable world through the power of people and battery innovation. And it's also something we really believe in. Again, we believe in the power of people. I think we have, even this today is again one of these examples where people just coming together on these short notice, because we believe, I think us as a community, and we're all together, we believe there is things which have to be changed, things which have to be implemented. And at the same time, we realize how much power we have together. And so we're really excited to kind of do this as an association, or associates, Battery Associates. And of course, battery innovation is one of these topics which just going to have such a remarkable impact, and already does. It's going to touch our lives from, as we have seen the beginning of personal electronics, but now really go into mobility, from all the micro mobilities to large scale. And of course, also energy storage, again, from the households where we can see all around the world, or microgrids, or big installations, batteries in different kinds of forms. It can be lithium, it can be sodium, it can be redox flow, but in the end, the battery system itself, these kind of back and forth of channeling electricity, really is one of these things which really going to influence our world. And we're really excited to kind of hopefully have a positive impact on that. And just, this is again one of these things, because you might wonder, you will see there's a lot of people involved in Battery Associates, and it's also really exciting. We have been growing quite quickly, over 50 people in the last month. So that's, I think, quite remarkable. And you can already see myself on here. I got a fantastic chief of staff, going to use in a moment. Got a fantastic advisory board I also want to quickly mention later. Got some amazing high-level supporters, partners. We've got a great team again with some amazing supporters. We've got community managers now, ambassadors, scouts, members, company members. So there's gets quite complex quite quickly, but I think I just want to put it on here that you understand there's like different roles, what people play, and there's a lot of ways to interact with us. And on the team again, I think it's one of my favorite slides. I think I'm super, super proud of my team. I think, a lot of people ask me, like, how can you do all these things in that short time? But at the end of the day, it really comes back to this really fantastic team, to this remarkable human beings. I'm super grateful for all of them. Amandine here is the chief of staff. Shabani is working on strategy and Lena on content. And yeah, we're also growing. There's quite a few more people coming in, but that's what we are today. And we also, again, in the spirit of community, we got some fantastic community managers. I could tell you many stories about all these fantastic people. These Bharat and Srikant actually joined Battery Day 2020 8 weeks ago, and afterwards have been really persistent to get involved. And I was really blown away by their determination and enthusiasm for this topic. And they joined as ambassadors, and now they actually moved on to community managers right away, very shortly after, because they just felt, there's so much to do, and they stepped up the game. I'm really grateful for all the two of them. And then also I mentioned there's ambassadors. We have fantastic ambassadors. A few of them are actually here today. I could tell you amazing stories again of people like Mariano working with Seat and Audi in over 20 years and setting up a lot of factories with them. And in Spain, we have people like Alex working with Jaguar Land Rover in the UK. We have people like Srinat at Oliver and Wyman, Satya at Dyson, and I can pick on all of them. I can give you many amazing stories here in Midya, and you know who you are, and we're growing quickly. We're adding about, I would say, one a day on average. And I think today was Philippines actually, which was nice to see too. And just to give you a bit of feeling, it's really a global kind of movement to some degree. We have been spreading really quickly. So I think we had like 15 countries, 15 cities, and I think in about 2 weeks. So this is really remarkable. It's not something which is completely crazy for me personally. I've been involved in another organization called the Global Shapers Community actually for quite a few years, and I set up an online tool to connect them called Serity or Random Shaper, and it's now used in over 200 cities and 100 countries. So personally, I'm quite used to scale, and it's, I think, also really helping us here again, how to scale something on the global level quite quickly. And also maybe just one thing, we also have this really fantastic supporters of all kinds of levels. We got them legal, the two first ones, which are really making me sleep better at night because they're helping us in legal in a fantastic way. Slavin here, he actually does the branding for Nike and Converse and these kind of brands, and he's doing a fantastic job to help us on our branding. And yeah, Dario worked on AOL back in the days and does a lot of art installation with us at the moment. So yeah, there's some fantastic people. There are already 20 more I should put on here. I really have to update the slide one day. But just to show you, there's a lot of really determined people who just really want to help and make this happen. And then also maybe the advisory board, it's something we announced last week. It's also something I'm really excited and proud of. Again, we have fantastic people like Claudia. You're going to meet her in a second as well. She's the CEO of Siemens Oman. Oliver working on ABB, and people like Harvard Business School. We have ETH at Dropbox, and at Allianz and BMW, and really fantastic people all around the world, and NYU and LSE and Tesla. And yeah, it's really, really amazing how these people all came together. And I'm very grateful actually that these all have been important people in my personal life as well. And so I'm really grateful that they all came together. And this is actually only about half of them. There's another half coming in a few weeks. Great. So this was a bit about Battery Associates, and I hope it wasn't too fast and too much, and maybe you want to hear more, but I think it's kind of maybe a good starter. And of course, you have my contact details. I'm easy to find, I think. So if you have any more questions, always happy to talk about it as well. And now I would like to ask Amandine, if you could please, to start to launch the first poll, because we felt, it would be kind of nice to kind of get to know each other a bit. Because right now you can see me here, and it's it's a fortunate position I'm in. But I think as there are many of you right now. So if Amandine could just try to set up the set up the poll, it'd be fantastic. And if there's a problem, please let me know, and I will try to do my part. Yeah, just checking. Okay, let me quickly now. I will try to do the hack. Things are never that easy. Let me do the polling myself. Okay, can you actually, okay, I'm now launching the first poll. Launch poll. Okay, so I just launched it. I hope it's working. If there's nobody filling the poll in a second, I guess it's not working. Great, I can read it's working. So if people just want to start filling them in, would be fantastic. So we just get to know each other a bit. Okay, I can already see some interesting trends here. I will wait another few minutes maybe. Okay. Very exciting actually to see it all in real time. You can maybe have all your guesses where you're based, maybe what professions you have, and very nice. Okay. It's a nice mix actually, because it's always interesting to see who actually is on the call later on. I will let it, I'll give you now 10 more seconds, and I hope everyone is okay with that. Okay. I think there's not much movement now, so let's end the poll now. And I'm going to now share the results. Okay, so we can now see quite a few people from Europe, which is fantastic. I think, there's a massive drive. I had some interesting meetings today in perspective of the Tesla announcement yesterday. So I think, people are very excited about this big announcement of trying to, with the plan to set up the biggest battery factory in the world and next to Berlin, which I have to admit, I'm a Berliner. I grew up in Berlin, so it makes me very happy to hear that. And I'm now based in Munich, but yeah, it's always good to have a reason to go home. So quite a few people from Europe, it's good. Even some from Asia, that's nice, because I know some of you it's quite tough on the time zone. Yeah, we got lots of people from science technology, I guess that makes sense, engineering, which is something very exciting for us to see, because the BatteryMBA is really meant for people with technology background. And then we can actually see, I'm really excited, actually, we got lots of students and PhDs, because I was a bit worried at first, worried in a way that I saw some really fantastic signups and we had a lot of executives, and you can still see there's a good chunk of you here. But yeah, it's good to see there are also some students here, and it looks like a nice mix we have here. And I know on the online, there have been quite a few more people also signing up, and I think maybe some of you are going to see the recording, so maybe that's interesting for you too. Great, so this was maybe about this, and then now I'm going to talk about the next poll, and I hope it's working. Okay, now we're going to do another quick poll, and that's 2 polls for now. I hope it's not too much, but I personally find it quite interesting. Now it's a bit about your organization. 2 questions this time. Okay, interesting. Okay, 75% has voted so far. We'll give you another, let's say, 10 seconds to finish that up. Okay, I think there's not much movement now. Let me close this one too, and now we're going to share it as well. So yeah, so you work at bigger companies here, which is exciting. I had this kind of idea when I looked at the sign-up list, so that's great to see. I think that means there's a lot of people which could benefit from this, and also I think it makes sense that there's maybe smaller groups, but there's also quite a few who say there could be more than 300 people at the organization benefiting from this, which of course is very exciting for us. I think you'll hear later we also have an enterprise plan, so you might want to look out for that. Fantastic. I think this was really insightful. I hope you thought it was interesting as well. And now let me stop sharing this again. Okay, so after we got to know each other a bit better as a group, I hope, let's go to the next point. Let's talk about BatteryMBA. So as you know, this is a new program. It's going to be the first cohort, going to be starting in January next year. And actually, if you sign up before and you hear about this later, you actually get already benefits from December onwards. And maybe also just a quick word, personal story, maybe, because you might be wondering, oh, it sounds, early programs might be a bit tricky. But I have to admit that every degree I've ever taken has been the guinea pig year, let's say, the first year. It was my undergrad. I did it in the Netherlands, in Maastricht, before I went to UC Berkeley, which was fantastic. And then afterwards, I also went to University of Cambridge. And again, I did the first year of the master's and the PhD. So literally every study I've ever done was always the first year. And I have to personally say, I've been monitoring the years coming after me. And of course, they've all been fantastic. But, talking to these professors, I have been told every single time that the first year has always been a very, very special one, because it's usually the very adventurous ones. It's very entrepreneurial people. It's people who are up for trying something new. So I think actually it can be a very fun year and a very good year. And of course, also a year where you have lots of ways to influence the program to kind of shape in the way you think it's the most useful to yourself. Okay, so you might wonder, why do you need that? And on the other hand, it sounds like a lot of you already think there could be interest in your organizations. But I think there's like three things we kind of think are most important. One is, we know there's a lot of technical people out there, and, I count myself one of them. I mean, I did my PhD in engineering and chemistry, and, I think in one of these degrees, you get really trained on the technical level, and you maybe have some business course around it. And, I've been entrepreneurial for a long time, but looking back now and just like, it's such a different world, right? Like talking to industry and academia, I think people of you who have done the transition or in the process, they can kind of relate that this is a very different world we're operating in. And I think, we are now in this time where we don't have much time left. One is about climate change, but also for the, energy transition, but also mobility transition. We don't have that much time to wait. So, we want to get as many people as we can ready to kind of like, have an impact. And, we think there's a lot of demand right now in industry to get people excited. We also think there's a lot of demand to kind of, that younger professionals kind of go through the ranks and like, take leadership, because we are entering a very new world in a way that, what you thought a car would look like maybe even 5 or 10 years ago, it will be very different than what it's going to look like in 5 years. And of course, the people doing this, they're going to will also require people who have like maybe a different mindset. And I think we have to help these people to go through the ranks to kind of, have their say and have their impact. So I think that's important to kind of help them to kind of develop themselves. And also, I think, we have been monitoring it, and we're very fortunate in our advisory board to have professors of, Harvard Business Schools from LSE, NYU. We have people who have been to Wharton and taking MBAs right now in some of Harvard and some of these schools. So we have been really trying to understand, what is the most beneficial things. And one thing we actually identified was that because it's changing so quickly, it's actually quite tricky to learn from theory alone. Because if you now think about a case study about a car again, 10 years ago, probably a case study, if we would write it today, would look quite different. And it might look even different if you think about half a year in the future. So we really want to think about what is the curriculum, what's the knowledge we need. And we think the best way to actually bring across this knowledge is by talking to the people who are involved in the change right now. So that's why you will see this in a second. We have fantastic people from industry who are joining us and will share their insights, which is, I think, really, really useful and really remarkable to have the lineup we're having. And of course, we also got academics from really top schools. We mentioned Harvard and Cambridge and Berkeley, and I was just talking to some other professors just before this call. So there's a very exciting lineup for them as well. And then also, we really believe, and this has to be a global movement. I think one thing we have seen through like the Tesla Battery Day as well is, this thought of we need a localized battery industry in every single country. And we really believe in that, because we know that, I think even COVID has shown it to us, right? Supply chains can get very complicated. And we think, on the other hand, actually batteries is a great way, because there's not just only a few countries, you can even lithium, to be honest, you can probably mine in many, many places. You could even do it in Germany here. There's a lot of ways to do that. And also there's many ways to kind of localize supply chains. Also, if we think about recycling, right? Because if we now think, a lot of these cars are going to end up in certain countries, like pretty much everywhere, we're going to need mobility, which means the battery is going to end up there. And we have to think, does it make sense to ship all these batteries back where they came from? Maybe it actually makes more sense to kind of recycle them where they are in their country and give them a new life, give them a new purpose. And we know we can recycle batteries to almost 100% already. So it's just going to get better and more efficient in the future. So why don't we just use the materials once they're already there, because we moved them there, and just kind of give them a new life? So why not create an industry in all these countries? And that's something we want to enable, and we're very excited and fortunate to have, as I mentioned before, people in most of these countries. And so for this to kind of happen, it has to be more affordable, right? I think it's a challenge for many people to pay maybe like 100,000 euros for a really top-notch MBA program. And also not everyone has the time to take this kind of time out. So we believe of course, we are not creating an MBA. So I will have to say very clearly also that our Battery MBA is not a Masters of Business Administration degree, right? It's not. It's an executive program for leadership and like bringing people into leadership position from a technical background in the battery industry. Okay, and then maybe you're just wondering again, kind of what does it look like? And that's kind of like, the rough kind of, that's a skeleton, I would say, and we're adding things on, right? I mean, as you know, we have announced this about 2 weeks ago, this program. So we're adding things on along as we go. And also this is kind of also part, again, the lucky position of the first cohort to really say what they want, because we're very happy, whatever makes sense to make it happen, right? Because very mission driven. We want this to be a course which you love, which we love, this should be a course I would have taken myself a year or 2 years ago. And I think I would have, we loved it. And I think I want this to be a course where you're all really happy and you think this is the most useful of your time. And at the same time, I know you're very busy people, so there's not too much on-demand time. The structure you can see here is we have Mondays, meet the leader sessions. This is video lecture then by a fantastic lineup, and you're actually going to meet 3 of them today, which I'm very excited for. And they're going to share some of their most useful insights. And it's going to be about half an hour, really condensing what is the things they believe in is the most important to share. And then afterwards, for about half an hour, you have about a fireside chat or Q&A, which is only for you, like to just ask any question, Chatham House rules, ask honest questions, and get honest answers. And hopefully this can be very useful. I personally have to say, having the fortune to meet many of these fantastic leaders in industry, this has been some of the most useful for me, to have about half an hour with them, and just throw all my really the question I always wanted to answer, always wanted to ask at them. We also got an office hour. It's something I maybe comes back from my US time at UC Berkeley. This is something I was always hawking every office hour I could, because I just found it so useful to kind of have this one-to-one conversation. And they're going to be mainly led by me. And here I really want to kind of, help you in whatever. We very holistic approach. We have also mindfulness coaches. We've got fitness coaches in our team. We have, whatever kind of need you have, I'm happy to kind of trying to help you on these levels. And, be it a question, an introduction to one of our speakers or whatever it is, give me a good pitch. I'm happy to introduce you, right? That's the kind of idea here. And this is really kind of, help you in any of these levels. And this is kind of the program itself. And then there's also more things. There's also something which is personally for me very exciting. At the moment, if you take a degree, and you're done with it, right? And you get your diploma, and it's very exciting and hopefully very proud of it. But what happens after? You kind of move on and you do your own things. But again, we spoke about this, batteries is such an industry and such a topic which is changing so quickly. So we really want to make sure that you keep updated. And how we're going to do this is we have an exclusive Slack community where you're going to be onboarded right when you signed up. And actually, we will keep recording all these future lectures. We're going to keep posting them there, which means if you now sign up as the first kind of group, you're going to see all the future lectures as well. Which I think this is just something I'm super excited for, because I know there are going to be many people in the future who are going to help us out as meet the leaders, etc. And you're going to be part of the community, right? They're going to be an exclusive secret channel for your cohort. So you have a safe space, and you can stay in touch, these kind of things. But you're also it's just going to get better, essentially, right? It's just going to grow. There are more and more people going to be on there, going to be more and more leaders. It's going to be fantastic. And I think this is just really going to be really supportive group. We also, as you have seen, we also help with recruiting. We have a fantastic recruiting team in Battery Associates. And of course, if someone of you wants to, do a different job or needs some help there with CVs or everything, we also have sessions on that. So, how to negotiate salaries and all kinds of topics. What's fair, how to read a contract. We have lots of things we can help people with. So the idea really is, we can help people to kind of grow in their companies. And I think, that's a very good way to grow. And at the same time, if there are people coming from academia and they're looking for a new job or looking for a job at all, we can also help them as well. So there's very different offerings, and really see it as a community, right? We all battery enthusiasts. You will meet my team hopefully later, and you will see, you'll probably have followed us maybe on LinkedIn or a platform. It's a really nice group of people. It's, I think, one of the reasons why people stick with us, because it's a lot of fun. People like each other, and it's a very supportive bunch of people. Okay, so now the next. There was a lot of talking for me, and I have to drink a bit of water in a second. But now I'm very excited to present to you 3 of our BatteryMBA speakers. And you will actually see them. They all happen to also be advisory board members of us, which I think, it's very fortunate to have them as well. But I can already tell you there's quite a long list of people offered to give talks. So that's really exciting. And I would love to start with Claudia. Claudia, as I mentioned before, is currently the CEO of Siemens Oman, and also fantastic, has another startup herself. She has got a Wharton MBA. She does it all. Someone I really look up to, and also a fantastic human being herself. And maybe, yeah, if you're there, I can see you now, perfect. If you just want to share maybe a bit about yourself and maybe some of the things you could help, our cohort, what are the topics they could help them with? Thank you, Claudia. Take it away.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Very nice meeting all of you, and thank you again for participating. So from my end, I think the part of the program that I think it makes a lot of sense for people, it's like just as in any MBA, it's about the community. I think Simon has reinforced this idea a lot of times, and it's about building a network. Many times, even be it like right after the program or be it deeper in your career, you may end up crossing paths with many of these people that are going to be like going through the program with you, and these relationships that you are able to build are really going to be something valuable that you can nurture going forward, and that you can also use to offer help, to help back, and I think this is just kind of like paying it forward can also open a lot of doors throughout your careers. And I think that's a little bit of probably what happened also with Michael and Bavia, and definitely happened with me when having known Simon for some time. And then when he comes back and he says like, look, I have this opportunity, I'm building together the Battery Associates, would you like to be part of it? So this is just an example of something that definitely can happen in the future to many of you. And content-wise, I think it's a matter of recognizing that we are in a very fast-paced time. Like there's a lot of changes coming up. So I guess it's that like this learning by the book, it's not necessarily what is gonna ensure success in the future, because what got us here is not gonna ensure that's gonna take us there, wherever there may be. So I would say, I think the idea of like really learning from experience, really coming together and brainstorming, it's of utmost importance in order to create the future that each of us wants to make. And so that's like my main words about why I fully support this initiative. And secondly, I would say, in terms of if you would like to hear my points on topics that I would value as in the future, would be anything around like design thinking, about innovation, about how can you really learn to get the best ideas or the best abilities of people and get them together to create bigger things. I think like many times a lot of our challenges are no longer around only technology. Many of our challenges are actually these days about how you motivate people, how you make them really give 100% or 120% of what they can give. And so those are some of the topics that I think would make a difference in a career in the long run.
Amazing. That was really, really, super resonates. And it's one of the reasons I'm really, really grateful we met. And, as you know, we met in the Working Forum, and, I'm very grateful for that. And thank you for sharing this. I think, as you say, I think we're in a world where community means so much, I think on a professional, but also personal levels. And I think kind of having a support system, which is, of course, also the reason why I built the advisory board, is because I was looking for a sounding board of, for some of these initiatives we have. And yeah, so I think, for me personally, it resonated very much. I hope with you as well. Thanks so much for Claudia. I think I'm very excited for have you on board. And yeah, I think, if you join, you will hear more of Claudia, and I hope you're as excited about it as I am. Thank you, Claudia. Okay, so let's go to the next.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Claudia. Let's go to Michael. Can you go on? Perfect. Hey, Michael. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Yeah.
Michael is just be quick. Michael's the CEO of Battronics. He's probably the who knows most about patents of batteries and papers and everything. He's probably the most well-read person I know on this planet in the battery space. I still have to be proven otherwise, but yeah, I'm very grateful for you involved, and maybe you can just share a bit about yourself and things you could talk about.
Yeah, thank you, Simon. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. So yeah, as Simon introduced, I'm Michael. So at Battronics, we basically analyze and superpose all the knowledge from papers and patents. And what I like about the initiative of the Battery MBA is actually that we show you both the financial side on batteries, but and the technology side. And aside from all the networking that Claudia already mentioned, so we look a little bit, what is the current status quo? Where are we? What are new technologies that are coming into the battery space? Like, do we stay really with liquid electrolytes? How long do we stay? There are many discussions on solid state, for example, on sodium ion. So we look on, and I give like some insights into new technology trends that are coming up and how you can basically price them. Because a lot of technologies basically don't come into the market, not because they are great, no, just because they are too expensive. And we look a little bit into that and how you can judge that. Because when you go out into industry, a lot of things you need to have some gut feeling. And we want to help there a little bit to give you an insight how you judge things, what technology can make it, which one looks directly already expensive from beginning. Yeah, so I will be part more of the technical side, and we look really deep into stuff, like into startups, from all over the world. So yeah, that's basically, I'm looking forward to it, that we're looking in, and that's why I work with Simon, because he's also such an enthusiast on tech side, but also on people. So, and that's, I think, what Battery MBA will like basically combine.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Michael.
very much.
Yeah, no, thank you, Michael. That's really, really kind. And also, I think, it's, as you say, I think, and we had this discussion many times before, when I finished my PhD, and, I actually had ambition to go on hardware and to commercialize my own PhD and these kind of things, and I had to really learn probably the hard way to some degree, that, you can build anything fantastic in the lab and you can make any nice prediction from an academic standpoint, you can make anything happen. But if you come to the brutal reality of industry and the brutal reality of reality, it can be very different. And I think people like you really can take that home and can really help people. I know we had this chat with some PhDs before, who really, really valued this kind of, the perspective you can bring on the commercial side a lot. So yeah, thank you so much for being part of this. I think it's going to especially help a lot of PhDs and young entrepreneurs to maybe avoid some of the biggest mistakes.
Yeah, thank you, Simon. Yeah, that's true.
Thank you, Michael. Brilliant. So then I would like to ask Bhavya next. And Bhavya worked with Tesla for about 2 years and just finished a Fulbright with the EU between, if I got it right, Brussels, Berlin, and London, and has a lot of expertise in many subjects. And I will let you introduce yourself on these. Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. For those of you whom I've met, it's nice to see you again. And for those of you who are new, welcome. This is a really exciting venture that Simon started, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Like Simon said, my name is Bhavya. I formerly worked with Tesla for 2 years. Actually, let me take a step back. My background is international politics. I studied at Georgetown, and then I worked at Tesla for 2 years with the environment, health, and safety team, where I learned a lot about batteries, kind of made it my new passion, and just spent the past year in Europe researching battery recycling practices and policies. So that takes me to what I'm doing here, and that is my interest is battery policy and legislation. I'm looking to join or matriculate into law school, but this has been a new venture that I've also joined, and I've been able to connect with a lot of people with similar interests. As far as the Battery MBA goes, I was looking for this kind of thing myself when I first learned a lot about batteries and didn't find it. So I learned a lot through experience, as many of us do, but I'm looking forward to sharing that with you and having conversations with those of you who have had similar experiences. Just have a great meeting of the minds. Specifically, I'll be focusing on battery end of life. So think recycling, repurposing, and then what policy frameworks and regulatory solutions exist or don't exist, or that need to be created to drive the sustainable management of these batteries. So that's the angle that I'm coming from, and I hope to connect with all of you to learn more about what angles you're coming from to Battery Associates. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Bhavya. And I think that's, again, one of these really important angles, which is often overlooked. You would maybe learn a lot about technology and business, but, I think the policy side is so crucial, and understanding how it's all playing together. And, you can see this, right? If you think about the European landscape right now. So why are they going to be the biggest battery production in Germany, like in Germany and next to Berlin? Why does it make sense? Why are all these companies now coming to Europe? I mean, of course, there's automotive decisions and incentives and all these kind of things. They're quite important. And also, again, the kind of end of life, what's going to happen? How can you ship batteries? There are a lot of UN rules and a lot of nitty gritty things, which are really impactful. And if you know them, you have I think, a good chance to be quite a leader in the field, because a lot of these things are not known by everyone. Brilliant. I think this was really fascinating, at least for me. It always is, to hear from these amazing people. Also, I want to say there's an option to answer questions. So I think there's a Q&A. So there's a Q&A function here on Zoom. So if you want to put any questions in, please do it now, because at the end of it, we have the chance to talk about it. And I think it's important that you have a chance to ask your questions. I think there's either the way to do it through the Q&A, or you can probably put in the comments. But I think if you put in the Q&A, there's a way you can upvote some if there's many. Brilliant. That's also something I want to talk about now, is because, it's a new program, and we want to give you like a very special opportunity here. The program itself is 1,000 euros for 3 months, which I think is very fair in the standard of things. But we think, because you're the first, you are the adventurous ones. As I said, we said on the website, and we said the first 20 going to be 50% off, so 500 euros instead of 1,000 euros. But we thought, because there's a lot of interest, it would be kind of unfair it's always unfair with these things, there's only a limited number. But we actually decided that for the next 24 hours, so starting right now, so you could say till tomorrow, 24 hours, I won't say what time, because I know you're from many different time zones. But yeah, for the next 24 hours, it's actually 50% off. So it's going to cost 500 euros for you instead of 1,000 euros, and that's all inclusive, right? So we pay the tax, etc. So all these things. So yeah, that's something for you to say. And, afterwards it's going to be 1,000. So, if you haven't felt the 20, which, I'm not worried about. And also I should maybe say, so there's a referral code on the application. So you can put it in there now, BatteryMBA 2511 for today's date. And also there's an enterprise version. So I know there's a few of you who work at very big companies and are involved in the talent and like training and these kind of things. And we're very happy to partner with you, to work with you. There's different ways to do that. We actually have a company membership. And if you have the company membership, for example, you get 20% off for every person. So it'll be 800 euros instead of 1,000 for everyone. So there's a lot of ways to get engaged, and very happy to do like large scale programs. If you, for example, if you believe, it would be useful for you to have like, your entire battery team to be one cohort and kind of go through this as together, we can set these kind of things up. So there's many ways to kind of also really help you to, grow your talent, make them really leaders as a cohort in your companies as well. Yeah, and just for these things, just go on the online and click interested and say what you're interested, describe the situation. And we're very happy to set up a call with you as well if you want to get more information about that too. Okay, so I already see some questions coming in. I will look at them in a second, but before, I want to kind of do a quick poll, because we just want to gather again the room, what people are thinking. So I'm now going to start the question 3, because you heard a few of the things, what might be useful and what we think is useful. But it would be interesting also to understand from your perspective, and we know we have a very wide audience here, what do you think will be the most useful of the BatteryMBA? We're about 70%. I give you another 10 seconds or so. Okay, I think we're about 80% again, so let's close it now. So I think Claudia did a very good pitch here, but I have to admit, this is something I probably would quite agree on. I mean, first of all, it seems like people think all the things are important, which is good. But I agree on the network. I think that's something really which is very special, which is also, of course, special as Battery Associates itself. I guess also one of the big reasons a lot of people have been joining us so quickly, because in this kind of world, it's very, very helpful to have like-minded people together. Oh, great. There's even people can raising their hand. I will do that later for sure. Okay, so thank you for that. That's very insightful. And then I guess the last question is, and you might kind of see it coming, we kind of want to understand where you're standing. Do you feel this was, are you excited? Do you want to get involved, or do you need a bit more time? Give it a few more seconds. Okay, we just said about 70% again. Let's close this. And I think it's interesting to see. So one, we already have, we have some people ready to sign up. So go with it, get the discount, make sure you don't miss out on this one. And then there's quite a few people who need more time to decide. And I think that's absolutely fair. We have, actually I have to share the results. Otherwise you won't see it. So you can see now there's quite a few people who need more time to decide. That's absolutely fair. You got more time. As we said, the course is going to start itself in January. But something important to say about this is that, hey, Claudia, good to see you. Just quickly to say that actually, so as I mentioned, so the course starts in January and runs till March. But actually, if you sign up now, you're going to get added onto the Slack, what I mentioned, once you're approved right away, which means, you have start a community access. There's a lot of information coming on there. We have something called batterynewsletter.com. If you want to go on there, we have an aggregator for all the information. We have lots of ways to already get you a bit up to speed on the battery space. And also, actually, we're going to start office hours right away. So from the 1st of December, they're going to be office hours. Christmas there's a break. So about 2 weeks of office hours. You already get for free. You can ask me any questions ahead of time, any feedback you have. If you have your favorite speaker, let us know. We have access to a lot of them. I cannot promise anything here, but I can tell you there's not a bad chance we actually might get them to speak speak in front of the audience. So, there's a nice kind of, let's say, personal kind of interaction we're going to have. So this is kind of maybe a little bit of incentive for you to sign up early. And otherwise, as I say, you should sign up in December. And if you want to get the 50% discount, you probably want to sign up in the next 24 hours. Brilliant. So there's some questions now. Let me just quickly check. Before I close, so this is kind of closing a feedback. So some people said they need more time or information. If you actually go on battery.mba, you find there you can download the flyer. And that's a new thing. We just put it on this morning. And you will find quite a bit of more information in a nice format there. So about 4 pages. And, feel free to download them, spread them around. As I said, so if you get, if you maybe convince your company, I know there's a lot of companies who actually have an educational budget. If you're talking to a few of them, you can maybe want to use the educational budget for this, right? This was one of the motivations we actually started this, because I've seen at many of my friends' companies and myself that there's many companies with educational budgets and they have nowhere to spend it on because there haven't really been much. You could maybe do a Coursera course. You can spend 40 euros on that. That's great. It's a different format, of course. It's not really interactive. It's all on demand. You maybe can go to a conference. And I think this has been very attractive in the past when you maybe can go to nice places like Hawaii, etc. In the days of COVID, maybe, going to an online conference might be not as exciting as it could be this way, because here you really have a lot of personal kind of community building, a lot of people around you. So I personally think it's quite a good offering. Great. Okay, so now let me look at the questions. And I know I have to check on how I can find the people who have put in the hand. So let me first look at the questions and I will answer them, I think, now by voice rather than typing them. So could we see a list of topics that will be covered in the lectures? Very good point. You have now heard 3 of them. As I said, there are many more. I think we have about 10 or something like that. So you probably, we could probably, if you send us an email, we can send them to you. We're gonna, probably put some out on, maybe we share them on the website, etc. But essentially, going to be, it's going to be a lot of them kind of covering, from the business perspective to leadership, to kind of technical, what we heard from Michael. So this, I think, is the 3 kind of main components, I would say. And then, as I said before, we actually have a bit of room there to also let you influence, right? So we might start off saying, hey, we've got three 3 weeks planned of the month. We already have a fourth option as well, but maybe you actually as a cohort, we did send around a little poll. You say, this is the topic we want someone on, and then we will try to find the best person to kind of teach you that, right? So there's a bit of flexibility, but I think the kind of the topics we have been covering in this call are kind of some of the major ones. And negotiation is another one. We already have people on. Finance. Actually, there's a webinar coming on Friday with a good friend again of mine, and also actually I met him the same time as I met Claudia through the World Economic Forum Global Future Council on Energy Technologies. And Jared Reed is quite an institution in the finance world, a big investor in clean tech, and he will actually speak on the webinar on Friday. So if you want to join us again, unfortunately, it will be 90, like most of it will be the same. So maybe it's not worth it. Maybe you want to just see the recording. But yeah, he will do a really exciting session on finance, and he's my go-to guy on anything finance battery related, which is, I think, good. So I say I answer this now. What kind of technical info in the program, like all battery manufacturing aspects and some of the design aspects, info on the battery components, etc. So here I want to say, this is not like a technical course per se, because we assume that the attendees have some kind of technical background. A lot of people have PhDs, some have done degrees, have been industry, some have been undergrads. I think but we expect, we don't have like a kind of like, like a something we tick the boxes kind of thing. We're looking into, do we believe they have enough technical background to kind of, that this is beneficial for them? Because the course itself is a lot about leadership, it's all about the business world, more these topics than a technical course. Here can already plug, we're actually for next Q1 next year, we're actually starting a battery course. Again, and this is a very technical course. So this is, that will be all the technical stuff you can imagine. So we're doing that as well. That's a very exciting, we've got a fantastic lineup of amazing instructors and teachers for that. But this is on demand. So that's not really leadership in this way. It's really on demand, self-study, etc. Rather than this, which is quite active in a way, and really about the community, the active community building. And of course, your network, which I guess is a big part of any MBA. Are there any capstone project at the end of the course? I really like this idea. We actually have a capstone for the battery course for next year, which is going to be people helping us. We're developing right now some open source battery testers and software, etc., and a lot of really exciting things around that. And actually, capstone going to be for that, and it's going to probably be an honorary capstone. Will be on some of these projects to get involved in them and contribute. And it's exciting, right? Because you can contribute something which is going to be used hopefully by many, many people around the world and many industries, many labs, etc. And had some good chats with some really smart people from Oxford about this today, so they're very excited to join on this. Yeah, for this we actually don't have one yet, but hey, if you as a cohort say that's something you want, we can create you one, no problem. There's many ways to do that. As I say, I think right now we have about 8 projects in parallel with battery associates running right now, and there's many ways for you to get engaged. So if you want to get engaged, very open to do that for sure. But so the question is, okay, I don't find the question, Psycho, unfortunately. Maybe you can type it again, or maybe it's at the bottom. Okay, I just see it. What is the duration of the program, and is there a university degree? Yes. Okay, so the program itself runs from start of January till end of March, and they're going to be a certificate at the end. As I want to say, we're not accredited at the moment. It would be quite fast if we would. It's not something we think is really needed at this point, because it's it's quite a different system, you could say. I think we're really coming to a world where it's all about experience, right? I think if you look at Tesla and you ask them, they're quite vocal on this one. You don't even need a degree. And actually, some of my friends who work at Tesla didn't even finish undergrad, and they now get really high through the ranks. They're very senior people at Tesla, and of course, many other people have MBAs and PhDs there as well. But I think I saw the number that about 40% actually doesn't have a degree at Tesla. So, just to give you a sense, I think in the modern world we live in, it will be way more about education and way more about experience than any piece of paper. But of course, we're gonna, provide you with a certificate, and it's going to be signed by myself, but also a board of really remarkable people who are all supporting our group. So it's going to look quite nice, let's say this way, and they're going to also be a way to validate it online, and you can show it off on LinkedIn, etc. So there's definitely that as well, but we're not accredited, so there's not this at the moment. At the same time, as I mentioned, on our advisory board, we have very leading professors from very leading universities, and we started talking to some. Who knows? There might be this option in the future, but it's not something we're offering right now. Okay, answer these 2. And then, how can BatteryMBA help as technical founders of battery startups, not from Europe, and who are focused entirely on hardcore R&D? So here again, I think I like this kind of saying hardcore R&D. I'm coming from a technical background, I can relate. At the same time, whoever you are and how technical you are, I think it will be very helpful to understand, at least to some degree, the business world and industry, right? Because whatever you do, it shouldn't be isolated in a like in a hardcore R&D bubble. It's probably very helpful for you to understand a bit of the market drivers and why things are maybe more important than others. So I think, I personally think that's my personal experience and personal opinion. It should, everyone can need some of that and some leadership. And of course, at the same time, you're also going to be in an amazing court of people who come from all across the world and of industries, right? So it says not from Europe, as I say, you've seen there's not just people from Europe here. We have in battery sources, I mentioned before, we have now ambassadors, I think, in over 10 countries, and we have people now from more than 15. And this was happened within 2 or 3 weeks, right? So who knows what's going to happen by next March. I think we're going to be even more global. Very certain we are going to be. So, there's many links there too. And, very open to, that's also the reason why I do the office hours 2 times, one in my morning and my evening, because that should allow everyone around the world in the time zones, hopefully, to participate in at least one of them. Yes, agree, answer live. Did that? I know it's helpful to us to make decision, post a speaker list or show us where to find that list. Yes. So you mentioned 3 of you, and there's the 4th one I mentioned, Jared Reed. Yeah, there's quite I have to be honest, this list is adding every day. We got, amazing people being added every day. So we will publish that list for sure. I can already tell you now that you saw 4 people. Think about this level of people and just think more of them. The course, you think about this, we have 12 weeks, so we already saw 4. So about a third you already saw now, and there are going to be a few more. We can publish that for sure. I cannot promise it when exactly we're going to do it. It's going to definitely happen before we start the course, but might take a week or 2 to get that all sorted. So right now you know about a third, but there are going to be more. And I can promise you they're amazing. I don't want to say them now because I haven't gotten their permission yet, but you can trust me on that one. Is the detailed curriculum available? So that's what I kind of saw, this weekly overview. It's going to be every week the same in a way. Monday is kind of meet the leader, and Thursday and Friday are the office hours. And then in between you have online, you're going to see, as I said, we have batterynewsletter.com. So we aggregating all the important news with our team, and we're actually also putting them nicely together once a month. But they're going to a lot of things on Slack, where you're going to see, I've seen it from Battery Associates. The ambassador channel has been one of the most remarkable ones for me because I learned so much from that. So, just people from Dyson and people from Jaguar and all those people and Seat and, all those companies discussing these kind of things, which are announced. It's really remarkable. And I think I learned personally a lot from it. And I think you will too, if you're in one of these communities. Where can find info about battery courses? Okay, the other battery courses, you cannot find about them yet, because as I mentioned, they're going to be launched Q1 next year, and they're going to be technical ones. You have to wait. You probably will find about them on my LinkedIn. As you have seen, we do a once a week announcement, and we have a lot of exciting announcements, and one of them going to be about the battery courses. But I know our team is working on this right now, and it's very exciting updates there. But I think it will be a bit too early to share much more about this now. But as I said, it's going to be technical, it's going to be on demand. It's also non-exclusive, right? You can take both. Maybe that actually makes sense for some of you. So that's kind of, I'm sorry, I have to kind of tell you it's going to happen in the future. Great. So I think now we went through all the questions and we're almost out of time. So I kind of want to give you another minute or so if you have any pressing question. Oh, let me see. There was one person who raised their hand. Let me see if you're still there. How can I see you? Somehow. I'm not sure someone else. Amadine, can you see the raised hands? I cannot see anymore. Maybe you had to drop off. Yeah. Anyway, so if there was one, I'm very sorry. I cannot see it in my overview. I can select here lower all hands, but I cannot see any hand up. So if there's anybody who wants to say something, feel free to do it again. Okay, so Amadine cannot see it either. So I trust you. Either maybe I answered your question, which is great, or you had to drop off, which is good enough as well. Brilliant. So then I always love to get some time back. So I will let you go off early today. Q&A, we did that. Now there's just a big thank you. This is one of these things where you really came together in a very quick time. We had over 200, I think, signups on LinkedIn, and I know a few people will watch a recording, and there are a few people who will go on the Friday's webinar, and there's a lot of you who came today. And don't be a stranger. We're very easy to find, I think, by now. You can find me on LinkedIn, you can find the email, you can find us on the website, find any channel you like, reach out to us. We're very happy to talk to you. Yeah, from here on, just want to say a big thank you to all of you. Oh, wait, is there one more question? What's the best, I guess, most effective way to reach you and your team regarding this course? Yeah, I think the best way would be either LinkedIn, or you can go write me an email. So my email is simon.engelke@battery.associates. So that's essentially my name, the dot in between, and then battery.associates. Or you can also write me on simon.engelke@battery.mba. These are like my personal emails, and then you can also go just on the website and you will find the generic one with info, but all of them are going to reach us. And one more thing, expected there will be a possibility for office hours with any of the speakers. Yes, that's actually something we're considering as well. So we might add these, but I'm not confirming it right now. What's going to happen is, as I mentioned, in office hours, if you, for example, come to me and you say, there's this one amazing speaker, and is there a way you can introduce me? And if you have a good enough reason, and I'm sure you do, then I'm very happy to create the link. And of course, I will ask the speaker first if they're happy with it. But there might also be the chance some of the speakers join us on the Slack channel, so then you can ask them there as well. So there's some of these options. We're still seeing that there might be different models. Some of the speakers might not like to talk like directly all the time. There might be others who are more open to that. I think there's also a difference between people actually involved directly with us, but we also have a range of guest speakers who are not part of Battery Associates itself, but are very excited to give a talk. So there might be different ways to do that. And brilliant. So I think now I answered these two as well. I guess now that's all questions. Again, thank you so much. It was wonderful to talk to you, and I wish next time we can actually speak to each other. It is not just one-sided, but yeah. As I said, don't be a stranger. Feel free to reach out to us anytime. And we're looking forward to hopefully see you soon. Thank you, guys. Speak soon. Bye-bye.